The morning I lost my job felt unreal. A routine meeting turned into a life sentence of uncertainty. A quiet conference room. A rehearsed speech about budgets and restructuring. My name read like a punctuation mark in someone else's decision. 8 years gone in 30 seconds. They handed me a folder like they were giving directions. They thanked me like they were returning borrowed paper. No malice. Just apathy. I packed my desk with shaking hands. The photo from our anniversary. The coffee mug Olivia gave me. The pen I bought on my first promotion. All symbols of a life I believed was stable. I walked to my car feeling hollow. I sat in silence, breathing like the air was heavy. Shock doesn't hit like fire. It hits like ice. Cold. Still. Slowly freezing everything inside. Driving home, I rehearsed how to tell her. I imagined comfort. A soft voice. A hand on my back. A plan we would face together. That's what marriage meant to me. Teamwork. Supporting each other when life swings hard. She arrived home from yoga, glowing, sipping a green smoothie. I told her quietly, I lost my job today. Her smile paused like someone hit a switch. Not fear for me. Not sympathy. Just calculation. How long can we survive without your income? She asked. No hug. No eye contact. Just numbers. Cold, sharp numbers. I told her I had savings. I explained my network was strong. I said I would bounce back. She nodded with a strange distance, like she was already watching a door open somewhere else. Then she said it. The sentence that cracked something inside me. Maybe this is a sign we should see other people for a while. My stomach dropped as if the earth tilted. It wasn't anger first. It was disbelief. Like I'd misheard her. She stared at her phone while she said it. As if my life falling apart was a notification she could swipe away. I asked her why. She shrugged. Stress breaks people. We might as well face it now. No hesitation. No tremor in her voice. It sounded practiced. Prepared. Like she'd been waiting for a moment to say it. A safe exit. A clean escape. My heart didn't shatter. It went quiet. Silence is worse than pain. Pain means you still feel something. Silence means something died. I told her okay. Not because I agreed, but because begging is for love that exists. And in that moment, I saw her love had conditions. Conditions I had just failed to meet. She left that evening. Said she needed space. Space for who, I wondered. I sat alone in our kitchen. The house I worked for. The life I built brick by brick. And I realized losing my job wasn't the real loss. The real loss was seeing who she truly was. The days that followed were a quiet storm. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just steady cracks forming under everything familiar. Olivia moved through the house like a guest. Polite. Distant. Detached in a way that felt rehearsed. She woke early the next morning, dressed too nicely for a casual office day. Perfume stronger than usual. Lipstick she only wore on date nights. She said she had meetings. She left without looking back. I stood in the kitchen, holding coffee I couldn't taste. I listened to the door shut like a period at the end of something. I pretended not to notice when her phone lit up before she walked out. A name I didn't recognize. A message preview with a winking emoji. She didn't even bother turning the screen away from me. Confidence or carelessness, I wasn't sure. That evening she returned late. Cologne clung to her hair like truth, refusing to be ignored. When she saw me awake, she paused. As if she expected questions. Accusations. A scene. But I didn't give her any. I simply said, "Welcome home," and looked back at my book. That unsettled her more than if I had shouted. Control slips fastest when someone stops reacting. Saturday morning, she hummed while making coffee. She checked her phone every few seconds, smiling at whatever she read. I recognized that smile. It used to be mine. Her friend Brooke visited that afternoon. 2 glasses of wine deep, their voices slipped careless. "I think Ethan's handling it well," Olivia said. Brooke asked, "And Logan?" There it was. A name. A confirmation. "He's patient," Olivia whispered. "He wants to wait until things are officially over." My chest tightened, not with heartbreak but clarity. She hadn't drifted from me. She'd already anchored elsewhere. I heard Brooke ask if she felt bad. Olivia hesitated only a second. "Not really. I just can't tie my life to uncertainty." They laughed softly, like betrayal was casual. I sanded a piece of wood in the garage to drown the sound. Work steadied my hands when emotions tried to shake them. That night, she came home smelling like a bar at midnight. A smear of unfamiliar cologne on her collar. She didn't look guilty. She looked relieved. Like someone who finally tasted freedom and didn't miss the cage. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask. The moment you have to demand loyalty, you already lost it. Instead, I woke early Monday, opened my laptop, and started rebuilding my life. Emails. Calls. Resume updates. Olivia walked downstairs at 9 a.m., surprised to see me dressed and focused. "You're up early," she said. "I'm not staying still," I replied. She blinked, confused by my calm. People expect collapse. Strength unnerves them. She offered a soft, good luck, like a stranger offering a polite nod. I didn't need luck. I needed truth. And I already had it. Her absence wasn't painful anymore. It was information. And once you see the truth, you don't unsee it. The third morning felt different. Not hopeful. Not defeated. Just focused. Pain had turned to precision. I woke before dawn, brewed coffee, sat at my desk like it was a battlefield. Laptop light filled the room before the sun did. I listed every contact worth calling. Every company I once admired. Every recruiter who had ever reached out. My career wasn't dead. It was paused. And pauses end. I sent emails with calm confidence, not desperation. Not a single message asked for help. Everyone reminded them who I was and what I delivered. By noon, I had 4 calls scheduled. Not miracles. Just results earned through years of reputation. Olivia passed behind me, arms crossed, tone casual but eyes inspecting. "So you're really doing the job hunt thing?" she asked. As if ambition was a hobby. "As opposed to what?" I replied. She shrugged. "You could take a few weeks, think things through." She wanted me idle. Weak. Dependent. I smiled politely. I don't rest in survival mode. That sentence unsettled her more than losing my job did. Stability is predictable. Determination is unpredictable. And people fear what they can't control. By afternoon, my notifications buzzed with replies. A CFO I'd once met at a conference offered a referral. A private equity firm asked for my resume immediately. A recruiter said she'd been waiting for a chance to place me. Momentum built like quiet thunder. Not noisy. Just undeniable. I took calls in the living room, voice steady, tone professional. Olivia listened from the hallway, without pretending otherwise. Jealousy didn't show yet. Just surprise. She wasn't expecting a rise. She was expecting a spiral. People love you humble until humility becomes strength, not weakness. By evening, I closed my laptop and felt something unfamiliar. Not joy. Not pride. Control. True control. The kind earned through competence, not circumstances. I cooked dinner for myself. Olivia came home later than she said she would. Hair neat. Lip gloss new. Phone buzzing like it had a pulse. She glanced at the dinner I'd made. Oh, you cooked. Someone had to eat, I replied calmly. Emotionless. Indifferent. Indifference is louder than anger. She sat, scrolling through her messages like attention was currency. I could have begged for her focus. Instead, I scheduled another interview. Another recruiter call. Another step forward. She asked, almost irritated, so how's it going? I said, productive. I didn't expand. I didn't brag. I simply denied her the drama she wanted. Control is quiet. Power doesn't need to announce itself. That night in bed, she turned away from me. Not angry. Just unsettled. Like she felt the ground shift under her comfort. And I stared at the ceiling, knowing one thing clearly. I wasn't chasing her. I wasn't proving myself to her. I was building without her. And once you build alone, you stop fearing who walks away. The world hadn't ended. It was just beginning again. The email arrived on a Wednesday morning. Subject line simple. No fanfare. Opportunity to discuss executive role. I reread it twice. Steady breath, calm heart. Not excitement. Confirmation. Months of reputation, paying its debt. A top-tier firm wanted to talk. Not for a basic role. Not a placeholder job. A leadership path. Something real. I replied with professionalism, not eagerness. Desperation never built doors. Composure opens them. They scheduled a video call for that afternoon. I ironed a shirt. Set my camera properly. Reviewed financial reports like muscle memory. When the call started, the recruiter smiled like she already knew. She studied my track record. She mentioned projects I forgot I led. She called my experience executive caliber. That phrase didn't inflate me. It anchored me. I knew who I was. I had simply forgotten for a moment. We talked for over an hour. Strategy. Leadership. Scalability. No fluff. No rehearsed lines. Real conversation. When the call ended, she said, "Our CEO would like to meet you personally." I thanked her. Closed my laptop. Sat still for a moment. Not in disbelief. In alignment. Life wasn't turning. It was correcting. Olivia came home earlier than usual. Hair styled. Dress too polished for office work. She froze, seeing me in a button-down at the dining table. Interview, she asked casually, too casually. Conversation, I replied. She tried to peek at the screen. I closed it gently before she could. She laughed lightly, a shaky sound. Look at you, she said. Already trying to bounce back. Her tone didn't sound proud. It sounded threatened. Like she didn't expect momentum. People who bet on your downfall panic when you start climbing. I cooked that evening. Calm. Steady. She watched me almost nervously. Silence hung between us. Not heavy. Exposing. She measured every word, every glance, like she was recalculating her options. Later that night, she stood by the doorway and asked, "You think something big might come from this?" I didn't look up. "I don't think," I said. "I prepare." She didn't know how to answer that. Power doesn't need volume. It needs direction. The next morning, I received the CEO invite. In-person meeting. Downtown. Executive board floor. I stared at the screen and felt no burst of victory. Just quiet certainty. I showered, shaved, dressed with intention. Olivia eyed me from the kitchen like she saw something rising she couldn't touch anymore. "Big day?" she asked, casual mask failing. "Possibly," I answered. Not bragging. Not hiding. Just letting reality speak. I walked out without waiting for her response. And in the silence of closing the door behind me, I heard it clearly. The sound of a life-shifting power. No explosions. Just a quiet transfer of control. From breakdown to breakthrough. From doubt to direction. From her approval to my purpose. The offer came faster than I expected. A handshake. A firm voice. A sentence that landed like steel. We'd like you to join us as vice president, starting next month. No hesitation. No doubt. They knew my value, even when my own household didn't. I nodded calmly. Agreed to terms. Signed the letter with steady clarity. On the drive home, the city looked different. Not brighter. Not bigger. Just more mine than before. I wasn't climbing back. I was rising higher. A quiet victory always tastes sharper. I didn't rush to tell Olivia. Rewards aren't for the ones who quit early. When I walked through the front door, she was on FaceTime, voice soft, laughing too gently. The laughter died the second she saw me in a suit. She scrambled to end the call. Too quick. Too guilty. Big interview today, she asked, pretending casual. It went well, I replied. Neutral. Non-committal. She hovered near me like a spotlight, searching for warmth. You look confident, she said. Something happened. I shrugged. Just life moving. That sentence unsettled her like thunder in clear skies. Later, I posted my announcement. Not dramatic. Just factual. A new chapter. Executive title. The kind of role that shifts rooms when you enter. My messages exploded with congratulations. Colleagues. Mentors. People who respected the work I built brick by brick. Within minutes, I heard her phone buzz across the room. More alerts. More whispers. More people telling her what she didn't know first. She walked in, holding her phone like it burned her hand. Your VP, she asked, voice thin. You didn't tell me. I wasn't sure you were interested, I said. Her face tightened. That hit harder than yelling ever could. She sat across from me, trying to smile. We should celebrate, she said. Together. I looked at her, calm as winter. When I lost my job, you talked about seeing other people. She swallowed hard. That was a mistake. No, I corrected softly. That was clarity. She blinked fast, panic rising underneath her skin. Ethan, I was scared. I didn't know what would happen. That's the thing, I said. You measured love in dollars. Her lips trembled. I never stopped loving you. You stopped the moment income stopped, I replied. Silence. Sharp. Cold. True. She reached across the table like distance could be undone by contact. I can be better, she whispered. I didn't take her hand. I didn't lean forward. I didn't soften. Growth comes when comfort dies. You love the stability, I said. Not the storm. A tear rolled down her cheek. Fear, not remorse. Fear of losing a life she never built. She finally whispered, do we still have a chance? I stood slowly, steady voice, steady heart. We had a chance. You stepped away from it first. Her face collapsed. Hope draining like light fatting. Success didn't change me. It revealed what she never valued. And this time I didn't chase. I didn't beg. I simply walked into the next room, leaving her alone with the truth. Victory isn't loud. Sometimes it sounds like footsteps moving forward while someone freezes behind you. The days after my promotion announcement were strangely quiet. Not peaceful. Just heavy. Like the air knew a storm had already passed and left ruins behind. Olivia moved differently now. No more carefree steps. No humming. Just silence trailing her like a shadow. She tried to be gentle. She tried to be sweet. But sweetness arriving after betrayal tastes like sugar poured on ash. One morning, she woke early and made breakfast. Pancakes, eggs, fruit cut neatly. I sat. She watched, searching for warmth in my face like someone scanning a dead battery for a spark. Thought we could start fresh, she whispered. I nodded politely. A courtesy nod. Not agreement. She pushed her plate around without eating. Guilt feeds no one. Later, she asked if we could talk. We sat in the living room, like strangers rehearsing grief. I messed up, she said, voice trembling. You didn't just mess up, I answered. You revealed your foundation. Her eyes filled. People panic. People make stupid decisions when they feel threatened. I stared at her calmly. When I was threatened, I fought harder, you ran. Her tears weren't dramatic this time. They were quiet. Small drops falling from someone who finally sees consequences. She tried again. I never meant to hurt you. Betrayal rarely means to announce itself as cruelty. It arrives dressed as survival. You didn't think you were abandoning me, I said. You thought you were upgrading your safety net. Her breath shook. That's not fair. Fair? I leaned back. Fair would have been standing beside me while I rebuilt. She looked down. Do you hate me? No, I said softly. Hate requires attachment. That sentence broke something fragile in her. She flinched like the words had weight. She reached for my hand again. I didn't move. Hands that hold only when the future looks secure don't feel like home. At night, she climbed into bed quietly. Lingered near me like she hoped I'd shift closer. I didn't. Distance isn't anger. It's truth settling into place. Midweek, she tried romance. Lingerie, soft eyes, desperate tone. I stepped back. Affection isn't a strategy, I said. She looked humiliated. Pain of rejected seduction is sharp, but earned. Thursday evening, she broke. I don't know who I am without this marriage, she whispered. You'll find out, I replied. And I hope you find someone who loves you for you. Not what you offer. I meant it. Kindness doesn't have to weaken boundaries. Friday morning, she sat at the kitchen table with swollen eyes. I spoke to a lawyer, she said quietly. I nodded. She swallowed. We can do an uncontested divorce, split things fairly. I nodded again. Silence stretched. Finally, she whispered. I ruined the best thing I ever had. I didn't respond. Some truths need no echo. She stood, grabbed a bag, paused at the door like maybe I'd call out. I didn't. She left quietly. No slam. Just a soft click. I exhaled slowly. Not relief. Not sadness. Just acceptance. Loyalty revealed. Self-respect intact. Sometimes winning isn't loud. Sometimes it's simply walking forward without the person who chose to walk away first. The house felt different after she left. Not empty. Just honest. Rooms don't feel lonely when the wrong person isn't in them. I made coffee alone the next morning. Silence tasted cleaner than forced comfort ever did. I looked around the home I built. The walls didn't hold resentment. They held proof. Proof that effort means nothing to someone who only values results. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I simply understood. Love is only real when it survives uncertainty. Everything else is convenience wearing a mask. I walked outside as the sun rose. Cold air. Clear mind. Life didn't fall apart. It shed what wasn't meant to stay. Losing her wasn't a tragedy. It was alignment. It was space for someone who values hearts more than incomes. I didn't win by becoming successful. I won by remembering who I am without someone else's fear defining me. And as I locked the door behind me and headed to my new office, one truth followed quietly. Sometimes life doesn't break you. Sometimes it frees you.